The 911 dispatcher's voice crackled through the speaker in my office at the volunteer fire station. Larkspur Dispatch, we have a trespassing complaint at Copper Ridge Lake. Caller reports a dangerous squatter refusing to leave private HOA property. I glanced at the address flashing on the screen. It was my lake on my land, the same 12-acre, spring-fed piece of water that had been part of the Dockery Ranch since my grandfather bought the place in 1948. And here I was, Flint Dockery, 52 years old, third-generation cattle rancher, and the unpaid volunteer fire chief for the last 18 years, sitting 10 feet from the dispatch console, listening to the HOA president try to have me removed from my own property. Her name was Deardra Venaire, and she had no idea the emergency call she'd just made, claiming I was hostile, possibly armed, and squatting on HOA common area, was routing straight to the room where I sat. Before I get into how I handled it, let me ask you something. Have you ever dealt with an HOA or a neighbor who acted like they owned everything that wasn't nailed down? Drop a comment and tell me what you did. And while you're at it, quick poll. Where are you watching from? I'm curious how many of you are out there on lakes, ranches, or big pieces of land where power-hungry folks have tried to claim what's rightfully yours. My family's story starts simple. My grandfather worked the railroads, saved every penny, and used a VA loan after the war to buy 640 acres in Larkspur County, Montana. Right in the middle sits Copper Ridge Lake, spring-fed, clear as glass, stocked with trout by my dad in the 70s. I learned to swim there at 4 years old. My father, Hank, now 91 and a Korean War vet, still fishes from the dock every dawn the weather allows. My wife Jolene runs the school library in town. Our kids move to Billings for work but come home for holidays. Mornings here smell like pine resin, diesel from the tractor, and strong coffee brewed in a dented percolator on the wood stove. It's a quiet, good life built over generations. Then, 5 years ago, everything changed. An 80-acre parcel east of us sold to a developer from Bozeman. They subdivided it into 12 luxury lots, $850,000 cookie-cutter homes mostly bought by retirees and remote workers escaping California and Seattle. They called it Copper Ridge Estates. The HOA formed fast, with covenants thicker than a phone book. From their back decks, they could see my lake through the pines, maybe a quarter-mile away. Problem was, they had zero legal access. The lake sits entirely on my deeded land. Always has. At first, the new neighbors were just curious. They'd walk up to the fence, ask politely to fish. I'd show them the survey maps, explain the boundaries, and most understood. A few grumbled, but left. Then Deardra Venaire bought the corner lot. 58, ex-corporate HR from San Jose, recently divorced, moved here for peace and nature. She drove a white Tesla Model X with the plate, Lake Cutie 1. I wish I were joking. She spoke in buzzwords, collective good, community standards, and weaponized politeness like a pro. 6 months before that 911 call, she got elected HOA president. 2 weeks later, a certified letter arrived at my mailbox, stuffed with highlighted clauses and exhibits. It claimed a 19th century county map showed a public easement across my land to the lake. She demanded walking access, a 5-foot trail, seasonal dock rights, and threatened legal action if I didn't comply in 30 days. I hired a surveyor and a title attorney. Cost me $3,200. The easement claim was pure fiction. No such thing ever existed. The county records clerk confirmed it personally. I sent Deardra the documentation politely. She didn't apologize. She pivoted. First, she accused my fence of encroaching on HOA common area. Then she hired an out-of-state surveyor with no local reputation, the kind you hire when you want a predetermined answer. One Tuesday morning, I was in the barn fixing a calving pen when I heard voices outside. I stepped into the sunlight and saw 4 people marching across my property 200 yards past my gate. Tripods, cameras, clipboards. Deardra led them in yoga pants and a puffy vest, followed by 3 HOA board members and the surveyor in a neon safety vest. I walked up slowly, kept my voice calm. This is private property. I didn't give permission for any of this. Deardra gave me that syrupy smile. We're on the disputed boundary, Flint. Our surveyor has every right to verify the line. I told her she was trespassing and to leave, or I'd call the sheriff. She pulled out her phone and started recording. Go ahead. We're documenting your harassment. I didn't call right then. Instead, I took clear photos of their faces, gear, and license plates, then walked back to the barn. They eventually left, confused that I hadn't escalated. My title attorney, Greer Holcomb, a ranch-raised lawyer who chews up bullies for breakfast, told me straight. Even if the boundary were unclear, it wasn't. Surveyors need landowner consent or a court order to enter private land. They had neither. In Montana, unauthorized survey trespass is a misdemeanor and grounds for an injunction. Greer drafted a cease and desist that night. I also filed a complaint with the State Surveyor Licensing Board. Within a week, their hired surveyor disavowed everything, admitting Deardra misled him about ownership and instructed him to trespass. He threw her under the bus completely. But Deardra doubled down. She posted in the HOA Facebook group, "Local rancher threatened us with violence today." Sheriff refused to help him harass law-abiding citizens, verifying legal boundaries. She screenshot my "I'm calling the sheriff" line and framed it like I was unhinged. 53 comments piled on, calling me aggressive, entitled, a bully. My wife Jolene saw it and went pale. Parents at the library would gossip. I told her to let Deardra dig her own hole. We had the paper trail. Privately, though, I was furious. This wasn't about law anymore. It was reputation warfare. Then came the gate. I drove to my back pasture one cold morning to check water troughs and found the county road easement gate. My legal access, chained shut with a heavy padlock. No note, just a steel middle finger. I keep bolt cutters in the truck for exactly this nonsense. 90 seconds later, the chain was cut. I checked my cattle, drove back out, and left the pieces on the ground. Next morning, new, heavier chain and lock. This time I had a wildlife camera hidden nearby from the earlier trespass. The footage was damning. 6:15 a.m. Deardra in fingerless gloves and headlamp. Tesla parked on the shoulder, installing the lock herself, muttering, "Let's see him try to access his back section now." I saved copies everywhere, filed an incident report with Sheriff Wade Purnell, high school friend, retired Marine, no-nonsense guy, and sent Deardra a registered letter citing Montana criminal mischief statutes. She responded by calling an emergency HOA meeting and pushing for private security and a $15,000 legal retainer. The board split, but she won the vote. Then the harassment ramped up. Anonymous complaints to Health Department, DEQ, Zoning Office, all from Copper HOA. Org emails, all within 48 hours, all cleared with 0 violations. Each wasted half a day of my work. The breaking point came in my fire chief office. The radio crackled with Deardra's 911 call. She claimed I was trespassing, hostile, possibly armed, on my own lake. Dispatcher Rhonda pulled up GIS records, confirmed ownership, and calmly corrected her. I sat there, 10 feet away, listening to every word. Sheriff Wade rolled by, found nothing, closed it as unfounded, and flagged it for false reporting, a crime. That night, I couldn't sleep. I dug through HOA covenants, developer brochures, county records. The truth hit hard. The developer had promised buyers exclusive recreational access to my lake in the covenants and glossy marketing. They advertised it as your private oasis. Buyers paid premium prices believing they owned lake rights. But the developer never secured an easement. I'd objected back in 2019, and the county denied it. They built and sold anyway, hoping no one noticed. Deardra wasn't just entitled. She was desperate. HOA meeting minutes revealed a $50,000 litigation budget to pursue adverse possession or easement by necessity. She needed to manufacture 5 years of open, hostile, continuous use to steal access legally and shield the HOA from fraud lawsuits that could run over $1 million. From there, it escalated fast. False complaints became coordinated harassment. Then my cattle got sick, lethargic, drooling, stumbling. Vet tested the water trough, ethylene glycol, antifreeze. Someone dumped it directly into the spring-fed supply. I installed a final game camera at the culvert under the county road. 2 nights later, Crystal clear footage of a white Tesla Model X. Headlights off, Deardra in dark clothes and headlamp pouring from a jug at 2:17 a.m. Her face lit up for 1 second. I had the vet report, the video, the plate. Sheriff executed a search warrant. Found matching antifreeze jug, stained funnel, contaminated gloves in her garage. We built the case airtight. Then came the county mediation. I walked in with Greer, laptop ready. Deardra and her nervous lawyer sat opposite. Sheriff Wade and the county attorney watched. 3 HOA board witnesses looked miserable. I didn't negotiate. I projected the evidence one piece at a time. Trespass videos, gate locking footage, the 911 audio, her voice filling the room, lying confidently, complaint timeline, developer fraud proof, and finally the poisoning video. The room went dead silent except for the court reporter's keys. I looked straight at Deardra. You didn't want reasonable access. You wanted to fraudulently claim ownership to cover up developer lies. You poisoned my livestock, destroyed my reputation, wasted public resources, all to save your liability. The county attorney asked if I was pressing charges. Yes, on the poisoning felony, the false 911 misdemeanor, everything. Greer gave the board an out. Remove Deardra immediately, issue public apology, pay my $18,000 legal fees, drop the civil suit. Criminal charges proceed anyway. Deardra's lawyer whispered urgently. She shook her head, tears starting. I just want what we were promised. Sheriff Wade stepped forward. Miss Veneer, you're under arrest for criminal poisoning of livestock and filing a false emergency report. Deputies cuffed her in front of everyone. She sobbed as they let her out. The remaining board members folded instantly, accepted the terms, removed her, promised the apology and payment. 3 months later, Deardra pleaded guilty, reduced charges, probation, $25,000 restitution to me, 200 hours community service. She lost her side real estate license, sold her house at a $90,000 loss, and moved out of state. The HOA published a full-page apology in the county paper praising my patience and confirming the lake is Dockery family property forever. I didn't keep the restitution. I set up the Hank Dockery Scholarship, $2, $500 a year for Larkspur County kids studying agriculture, environmental science, or land management. First recipient, the daughter of a board member who resigned in protest against Deardra. My dad cried proud tears when I told him. I also donated 40 acres of steep, beautiful, but marginal ranch land to the county conservancy, permanently protected, never to be developed. And twice a year now, spring and fall, I host Copper Ridge Community Fishing Day. Any local can reserve a spot for $20, catch and release, barbecue included. Proceeds go to the volunteer fire department. First year sold out at 80 people. Kids learning to cast, retirees swapping stories, my 91-year-old dad teaching a 10-year-old girl how to tie a clinch knot on the dock. Boundaries don't have to mean hostility. I protected what's mine fiercely, but I left room for reconciliation. That matters. Deardra thought she could steal my family's legacy with lies, trespass, harassment, and poison. She didn't know the call would come straight to me. I didn't fight with anger. I fought with documentation, patience, truth, and an airtight strategy. I let her dig her own grave, then buried her in evidence. When it was over, I didn't gloat. I built something better. If you've got your own HOA nightmare, neighbor from hell story, or tale of standing up to petty tyrants, drop it in the comments. I want to hear how you fought back. And if you're in the middle of something similar right now, remember, document everything, stay calm, and never underestimate the power of the truth. The land doesn't belong to whoever shouts the loudest. It belongs to whoever has the deed. Thanks for watching HOA Stories, where entitled neighbors finally get checked. If this one hit home, smash that like button, comment your favorite moment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next showdown. Next week, the time a city inspector tried to condemn my barn over a bogus code violation, and how I made him pay for the repairs himself. Stay sharp out there. Protect what's yours.